Thank you for joining me. I would like, first of all, I hope you enjoyed last week's, and if you haven't seen it yet, please take a look over there on the Dr. Cowan's Garden YouTube channel. Do take a look and see last week's little conversation that I had with everyone there. And if you have not subscribed yet to the channel and you would like to know when I'm talking, etc., and see what we've got up on the channel, please do subscribe. Dr. Cowan's Garden. Let all your friends know that we're here and we're talking and I'm talking and can talk all about all things food, all things Dr. Cowan's Garden, all things about cooking in the kitchen. So today I thought we would start with the word and the concept nourish. Nourish. I want to talk about nourish because I know that I talked a little bit about nourishment and nourish last week, but I really want to hone in on what it means to be nourished. And also, I'd love to link it in, connect it with this very special time of year, which is back to school time. Not for everybody, but for many, many, many children. If you send your children to school or if you homeschool, right? Whatever whatever's going on for your kids, it is back to school time. It's back to school, back to college, back to homeschool. We're in that time when the children are going back, when we're going into those new different rhythms than we've had maybe for the last 2 or 3 months of the summer. So I know it's still August, but in many, many places in this country, we are in back to school time. So what I'd like to do is I would really like to, again, talk about nourishment and nourishing and what does nourish mean. So let's just do that together. Taking a deep breath, arriving here and thinking about the word nourish. I did a little bit of research for fun on what nourish means out there out there in, I don't want to say Google land, but I did. So what is nourish? What does it mean to nourish? Nourishing is very different than just eating. Nourishment or nourishing is very different than just feeding. Nourish. So here's what nourish has to say. Nourish, to nurture. Nourish has to do with nurture, right? This is all from, where did I grab this from? I grabbed it from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So the short definition of nourish, the short definition, let's look for short. Hold on, I'm finding it for you. To provide someone or something with food and other things that are needed to live and be healthy, etc. That's the short form, right? To provide someone or something with food and other things that are needed to live and be healthy, etc. That's them saying etc. All right, so here's the longer version. To cause something to develop or grow stronger. Okay. To nurture, to promote the growth of, right? To furnish or sustain with, nutriment, right? Okay, so nourish. We're going to talk about nourishment in just a moment, or I'm going to talk more about it. I want to bring you also the The origin and history of nourish. So Nourish, nourish. Yeah. So nourish is a verb. It started around, let's see if I can find the date for you, just a little bit. Come this way. Okay, circa 1300, right? We're now at 2026. So it comes from nourishing, to supply with food and drink, to bring up, to nurture, to promote the growth or development of. This is important. To promote the growth and development of a child, a youngster, etc. From the Old English nourris, Norriss, right? The stem of nourir, Norrir, to raise, bring up, nurture, foster, maintain, provide for. Okay? Now we have 12th century modern French, right? Okay, from the Latin nutrire, I'm getting it wrong, Nutrire. Didn't take Latin, folks, sorry. To feed, to nurse, to foster, to support, to preserve, right? From nutri, which is an older form of nutrix, which is nurse, right? On and on and on we go. Promoting strength or growth, late 14th century. Okay, so nourishing is promoting strength or growth. Okay, what's the opposite of that? Malnourished, suffering from insufficient nutrition. Right? That's 1906. All right. So I just wanted to bring these things up. The word nourish, it came to me. I wanted to speak about nourish more anyway after our conversation last week. But the idea of nourish came to me. At the same time, the idea of back to school came to me. At the same time, I thought of beloved. I have grandnieces and nephews. Lucky me. Beloved children all over the world, right? That we're sending off to school, or maybe we're homeschooling, or maybe we're Waldorf schooling, or maybe we're, which I love, of course, maybe we are doing something else. But children nourish back to school. Okay. So that's our topic for today. Children nourish back to school. And here's what I want to say to all of you. One more time. Let us sit with the feeling of nourish and nourishment. Nourish and nourishment. It's about the food. It's about what we are giving ourselves and our children. And it's about the way we prepare it. You know, I talked about this last week. Yeah. Prepared with love, prepared with, I got to get the heck out of here. We're running late. Oh my God. Happens for a lot of people, right? Has to do with the feeling around the table, has to do with the sitting with the food, sitting together. So what I want, again, what I'm going to talk today is that I'm going to start with breakfast. Why? People say it's the most important meal of the day. And I'm not here to talk about intermittent fasting or blah blah right now. We can talk about that at any point going forward. Right now, I'm going to focus on the children or anyone that's going out of the house off to somewhere, right? For a period of time. So breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And in America, what children are eating for breakfast is frightening. It's frightening. We have lost the sanctity of the breakfast table. We've lost it. We're lost it. We're too busy. There's too many things to do, and we don't have enough time. We're too busy. There are too many things to do, and we don't have enough time. So I've already mentioned that I'm actually a Waldorf mom, if you will, meaning I moved where I live now so that my son could go to a Waldorf school. And very early on, this is not like a infomercial for Waldorf education, but one of the things that they really get right, I think, is the idea of rhythm for children and for humans. Humans love rhythm. The idea of rhythm, the idea of knowing what's coming next, that's part of rhythm, right? And the idea of making a meal a time of connection, a time of quiet. People should be hearing in their minds, rest and digest, rest and digest, need to be sitting at the table quietly, take a moment, right? So they really do well, these things of rhythm and the and eating around the table together as a family. Takes work, folks. Takes time, takes planning, takes effort, right? But I would submit to you that one of the biggest gifts that we can give to our children is the gift of nourishment. And the gift of nourishment absolutely has to do with what foods you're feeding or serving, etc. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But it also has to do with the atmosphere around the ritual of eating. Let that land for just a minute. And in fact, maybe you could think about your own morning this morning. Or maybe all the mornings when you were a child, right? How was it? Was it, we got to get out of here, right? Like here, right now it's eat a breakfast bar, get in the car. What? Right? Have a bowl of cereal with soy milk. Ah, almond milk. Ah, oat milk. Ah, right? All those things, right? Cold cereal with plant-based milks that can't nourish you, right? So if we just take a moment and think for ourselves, either about our childhood, like how was it what was breakfast like? About our own morning this morning, what was breakfast like? About what we did with our children or what we do with our children, right? What is breakfast like for you? Is it a rush or is it intentional? I'm breathing now. So much information out there telling us what we already know. The body cannot digest food if you're running out the door, right? The body needs us to sit quietly, breathe, feel our feet on the floor, maybe take 3 deep breaths before eating. Maybe say a blessing before eating. Maybe do some gratitude before eating, right? Take a moment to sit and become present to our food and eat our food. So I really invite you to think a little bit about breakfast in your life, how it's been and how you would like it to be, how it is for your children and how you would like it to be. Because it's really, really important that we take the time and we make the time to be intentional around our meals, Today I'm going to talk about breakfast. I'm sure in the future I'll talk about lunch, dinner. What about snacks? Blah, blah, bloaty blow. We can talk about anything that you would like going forward. I'm going to be here every week. As you know, at this time, I'm so blessed to be here. So again, topic of the day, nourish. So I'd like to talk now about food. So we've talked about intentionally creating a space, putting it in your schedule, making eating a breakfast meal a priority for your children, a priority for your family, a priority for yourself, right? Put it in the schedule, wake up a half an hour earlier. But yes, right? We could talk about doing things the night before, what's possible, all of that stuff, but really to make it a priority of that, the table is going to be set. What? Maybe the children can help you with that, right? The table's going to be set. Everyone has a place. Yeah. And everyone knows what time they need to be there. Maybe it's 7 a.m. Maybe it's 6:45. We all get up way too early in this country, by the way. Maybe it's 8 o'clock. Whatever it is. Breakfast time. Breakfast is on the table, right? Everyone comes and we're intentional about making breakfast a priority for our children, for ourselves, for our grandchildren. Who can we talk to about this? Yeah. All right. So that piece I've spoken on. Now let's talk about the food because we're in the kitchen, right? Let's talk about the food. What is the food? You know, I have very strong opinions about all of this. I know that you know that I have very strong opinions about food. What is food? We talked about it last week. Is it a food fraction? Is it even food at all? Yeah. So again, let's talk about nourishing breakfasts, right? Let's set our children up for success, meaning let's give their growing bodies, their growing brains, the nutrition they need to grow well, the, the nutrition they need to be able to think, the nutrition they need to be present in their bodies, the nutrition they need to sit. Now, again, I'm all for like outside education, Waldorf, all more for, I love Tom's newest book, the one on child rearing. Fantastic. Yes, absolutely. And we also still have children that are going out to school for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day, right? By the time it's all said and done. So, what is the food that you're going to give these children so that their brains can work, so that they can sit when they need to, so that they can focus, right? Well, one more time with feeling, what they are not are boxed cereals. Whether they're organic or not, they are not boxed cereals. Boxed cereals aren't worth nutritionally, right? The cardboard they're stored in, right? So what you're not feeding your child is a boxed cereal. What you're not, cold cereal, extruded cereal, organic or not, with some kind of alternative milk. And again, I'm happy to work with people. You can say your child has a dairy issue. Let's go do the GAPS diet and get that dairy issue resolved, right? Because everyone can have dairy, or 99% of them. I don't know. Pulling I'm pulling I'm pulling data out of the air, but I'm just saying, if you have a dairy issue, let's clear it up so you can have raw milk and go forward. Yeah. Okay. So what are you giving these children? What are you giving yourself? How do you set yourself up for a fabulous day? Breakfast. What is that? Eggs from pastured hens. If you can't do chicken eggs, then do duck eggs. If you can't do duck eggs, do turkey eggs. If you can't do turkey eggs, do quail eggs. Let's get those eggs in brain food and protein, right? And good for hormones. It's amazing if hormones exist. Sorry. Butter, cooked in butter, raw butter, cultured butter, butter you made yourself, butter you get from the farm, butter you buy that's organic. What's the best you can get? Butter. Eggs, butter, right? Sausage, bacon. Sausage and bacon from farms that raise their pigs correctly, meaning on pasture, etc. If you don't eat pork for religious reasons, no problem. Let's do fabulous things like smoked salmon, gravlax. Those are all brain foods. Amazing brain foods. Eggs, butter, bacon. If you eat bread, sourdough bread. Do you make it yourself? Fabulous. Do you not make it yourself? Find a good bakery. Yeah. And then cover it. Weston Price did this week on the, I don't know, one of their Facebook groups or something. They're talking about teeth butter, right? Teeth butter or butter teeth. I don't know, which is just you take, I have pictures of eating butter with Sally. I don't know, some Wise Traditions conference. I have a picture of us with our little sourdough bread. The sourdough bread's about this high, and the butter's about this high. And you see the teeth in the butter. So, sourdough bread with butter. Yes. Homemade yogurt, right? Homemade raw milk yogurt. We can talk about that. If you don't know how to make it yourself, let's get the best quality that we can find, right? Kefir, kefir, raw milk kefir. How about raw cream kefir? Right? So these are all of the foods that you can serve on the breakfast table. You know, you can do eggs a million ways. People like eggs, whatever. I'm like, yeah, you can make an omelet, I don't know, a million different ways. You can do omelets. You can do frittatas. I used to call a frittata an egg pizza for my son when he was very young. We're having egg pizza this morning for breakfast. Yay, mom, great, right? So you can do eggs a million ways. You can have sausage and bacon and throw some avocado on that plate. Yes. Cover the avocado with olive oil. Yes. Use good salt. Yes. Celtic, Baja Gold, etc. Yum, yum, yum. Yes. Have some fish eggs. Love that too. Absolutely. Sourdough bread and butter. French toast made with sourdough bread and butter, right? Cover it with berry puree you make yourself. Yeah. And then, of course, there is the ultimate, at least it used to be the ultimate for Sally, which is porridge. We are going into September. I know, not yet, about 2 weeks from now, maybe 3. Yeah. Porridge is oatmeal, right? That we either use sprouted oatmeal, which you can buy now, organic, yay, or we soak our oatmeal overnight. At least. I like 24 hours, actually. Soak the oatmeal, cook it up with some raisins. Make sure your oats are organic, folks, at this point. Oat is full of glyphosate all over the place unless it's organic. And even some of that is kind of, but oatmeal, soaked oatmeal. I used to, again, I have all these silly stories from Sally from like 20 years ago, maybe 15, where she would say, yeah, have a bowl of oatmeal and put a stick of butter in it. Right? So now your child is having these foods that are like, my mom used to call them stick to your ribs foods. But what it meant was they were blood sugar stabilizing, right? Because we have the butter, we might have cream in there, raw cream. Yes. If you don't do cream because you can't, coconut cream, no guar gum, please. Right? Coconut cream in there, just throw it in there. Right? So these are stick to your rib Stick to your ribs foods. They are blood sugar stabilizing foods. They are brain foods. They are keep your child satisfied until lunchtime foods, right? What are they? They are protein, fat, and grains that have been soaked or sprouted or fermented and served with fat. So these are the things. These are the foods that we want to be feeding our children. These are the foods that we want to be feeding our children. These are the foods we're wanting to give them before they walk out the door for the whole day. These are the foods we want to be feeding ourselves before we walk out the door for the whole day, right? Nourishing foods, hearty foods, right? Nutrient dense, didn't even bring that word in yet today. Nutrient dense foods. These are the foods. Yeah. So, yes. Well, soaking. I'm going to take some questions. Please put questions in the chat stream. I'm happy to take any of your questions about food, about nourishment, about creating intentional spaces around meals for your children, for yourself, right? And setting them up for the day, right? So, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's all about the nourish, folks. Nourish, nourish, nourish. So again, one more time with feeling. It could be sprouted grains, right? That you make sprouted oatmeal. You can bake with sprouted grains. You can have sprouted granola. Yes, sprouted granola. If you haven't tried the sprouted granola at DCG, please they really are doing it well over there. They're amazing, delicious, etc. Right? So you can sprinkle sprouted nuts on top of that bowl of homemade raw yogurt with some blueberries, right? Like, yeah, really, really, really good. All right. So what I wanted to say is, right? So we want to nourish the child, right? We want to nourish the child. We want to create the space for a meal together, which is breakfast, right? Yeah. We want to schedule the breakfast in. Like breakfast becomes part of the morning routine. It becomes part of the morning ritual. The mother or the father or the partner or the whoever, the grandmother, the aunt, the uncle, who's in charge of breakfast in the morning, right? Right? So we create the space around the table and then we create the menus, right? One of the things that really, really helps, folks. We're all busy. I'm not sitting here eating bonbons all day, right? Like it takes time to cook food, to cook real food. But one of the things that really helps you or that can help you is to have a little schedule. Adults and children, humans love rhythm. They love to know what's coming. So maybe Monday morning is oatmeal morning, right? A bunch of oatmeal, as I said, with some crispy nuts on top, with some good good fruit on top like blueberries with a bunch of butter in it, right? And maybe even some yogurt in it, maybe some cultured cream in it. I mean, what have you got? So Monday is oatmeal day. Tuesday is sourdough French toast day. Yes. With eggs on the side, by the way, right? Maybe Wednesday is what's Wednesday going to be? Wednesday will be bacon and eggs day, sunny side up or whatever, right? So Thursday will be granola and yogurt but please, folks, we want to, I don't know. I just keep seeing children in my mind that either aren't eating because they don't want to, right? They don't want to eat. I don't want to eat. Well, then you'll come and sit at the table with all of us. And here is your breakfast for today. We're eating breakfast, right? So there's so much junk out there right now, folks. There's so much not real food out there. We are not serving our children well. We're not serving them well when we serve them boxed cereal, as I've said at least 3 times already. We're not serving them well when when they're having a bunch of sugar. Please keep the sugar down. Keep the sugar down. Keep the fat up. Keep the sugar down. Keep the protein up. Keep the sugar down and start reading the boxes. How much sugar are we giving our children in the morning? And then tell me why they can't focus. And then tell me why Johnny can't sit in the seat. Well, again, we'd love for him to be outside, but maybe he can't be, right? Like Cut the sugar, increase the fat, increase the protein. Fat and protein, that's the way to go. Keep the fruit down. Keep the fruit low. No orange juice, it's pure sugar. No apple juice, it's pure sugar, right? Okay. All right. So those are the ways that we nourish our children. Please, 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 children need real food. I know that a lot of you that are watching right now know some of my work with the GAPS diet. I've been working with Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride for, I don't know. I wrote my first book about meat stock and bone broth in 2015, so that's 11 years ago. So I've been doing this a long time. I work with clients one-on-one, and what I do is I see over and over again the children with brain function issues because they're eating standard American diet. And even if they're not eating standard American diet, meaning they're having organic, right? Just because organic doesn't mean it's good for you. Just because it's organic doesn't mean it's low in sugar, right? Right? So they're eating the standard American diet or they're eating Weston Price, right? But they're way too high in sugar because of all the misinformation about how much fruit your child needs and how much orange juice your child needs and how much apple juice your child needs. And oh, how about all of these squeezy go yogurts or whatever they're called, full of sugar, sugar, sugar. The biggest thing you can do for your child, folks, and for yourself is to cut the sugar out. Refined sugar, number one, and every other sugar you can find, cut it way, 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 way down. If you're going to eat grains, they need to be soaked, sprouted, or fermented, and they need to be covered with butter. All right. So please feed your children well. That's going to be my next book. I don't know, right? Children need real food, right? All of us do. But we're trying to grow children here, folks, right? Like they really need it because they're growing so rapidly. Yeah, they really, really need it. So children need real food, right? Feed your children well, right? What do they need? Eggs, butter, ghee, some beautiful A2 ghee, or not. Make it yourself too. Eggs, butter, bacon, sausage, soaked, sprouted, or fermented grains that are covered with fat, meaning butter, or coconut cream, or ghee, or, right? So these are the foods that our children need. These are the foods that our children need, right? These are the foods. And don't be afraid, parents, to say, we're sitting down for breakfast. This is new. Yep, it's new. We're going to sit down for breakfast every day. We're going to sit down at X time, whatever that time is that's best for your family, and we're going to eat together. And I submit to you, once you start doing that, a lot of things are going to get better. Their brain function will get better. Their behavior will get better. They will generally become happier children. Now, I'm generalizing, of course. Oh, and don't forget the raw milk, great big glass. Now, remember, these things I'm talking about, some of them are not GAPS. I'm not in here as a GAPS compliant, like, I'm not talking about GAPS. I'm really talking about traditional food, what's going to help everybody. If you're on the GAPS diet or you want to heal and seal, or your child has brain function issues or whatever, then you will know what those things are that you need to do differently, right? No grains on GAPS, etc. But I'm trying to really talk about, yes, talk about these fabulous things. All right, so that's me. I'm going to take questions now from the, I will take questions from, give me 1 second. I've just set up my, now I'm over there. Okay, I will take questions from the chat. So I'm going to read out the question, I think, if that's okay. I want to say hello to people. Hey, hey, all these fabulous people that I know. Thank you for coming. Howdy do. Good to see you, friends. So thrilled. Look at all these beloveds. all these fabulous people, all of you, whether I know you or not. Thanks for being here. So much fun. All right, so yes, let's do egg pizza. Let's cover it with mozzarella or maybe some cheddar cheese or something and some tomato, etc., etc. Yes. Okay, so the first question I have is, can we soak organic oatmeal in raw milk? You can. You can absolutely soak everything in raw milk, but the best way to soak oatmeal or any other grain is to soak it in yogurt. Backing up, hold on. Soak it with water with yogurt in it. You can soak it in raw milk, but we need more live, good, beneficial bacteria. So I would do, if you're going to soak it in raw milk, soak it in raw milk plus yogurt, right? Or raw milk plus kefir. I'm going like this because I'm putting, you can't see me doing it. I'm putting tablespoons of raw milk, of kefir and yogurt. So the ratio is for every 1 cup of oats, right? We usually soak it in 1 cup of water. It's actually 1-2-2. People who've been with me for a while know that. It's a waltz. 1-2-2, 1-2-2, 1-2-2, 1-2-2. All the grains are 1-2-2. What do I mean by that? It means for every 1 cup of grains, you're going to use 2 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of a neutralizer. What's the neutralizer? It is yogurt. It is whey. It could be kefir. It could be cultured buttermilk. It could be, golly, what else? Well, it could be lemon juice if you cannot tolerate dairy at this time. It could also be apple cider vinegar. So with oats, it's usually 1 cup of oats, 1 cup of water to soak in with the 2 tablespoons of neutralizer, and then you go ahead and cook it in the 2nd cup of water the next day, right? So you could soak the oats in a cup of raw milk with 2 tablespoons of yogurt or kefir, and then cook it in, right, a cup of raw milk or water the next day. That's your 1-2-2. Okay. What are the sources for the claim that traditional people always use to sprout or ferment their grains? Great question. Here's the answer. Well, the first is to go ahead and look at Dr. Weston A. Price, his book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. Sorry, I blanked for a moment. I know it as NAPD, but it's Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. Look there. I would also look at Sally Fallon's cookbook, which, oh, look at that. Do I have it here? I do. It's always here. Nourishing Tradition. She has a lot there. She also has Nourishing Fats, Nourishing, I don't even know. She's got 3 nourishing books right now. Look there because all of it is documented, right? But here's the real thing. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Ready, 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 Freddie? Everybody ready? How do we know that they sprouted their grains? How do we know? Because they had to. What do I mean by that? They had to sprout their grains because they couldn't harvest them fast enough, right? So in the beginning, meaning when humans first started cultivating, right? They first started planting crops and then harvesting them. They couldn't get them to the mill fast enough. So what would happen? They would harvest all the grains. Maybe it was wheat, maybe it was oats, maybe it was rye. What was it? I don't know, right? It's in a pile. And what happens? It gets rained on, it gets sun on, it gets rained on, it gets sun on, it gets rained on, it gets sun on. And what happens? What happens? It sprouts. Grains are seeds. So de facto, that was all the grains in the beginning, all the grains, meaning when they first started harvesting, right? That's what would happen. Grains were left out and they would get rained on, sunned on, rained on, sunned on. What happens to seeds when they get rain and sun? They sprout. And then they got carted to the mill. So That is one of the reasons why grains used to not be so difficult for humans to digest. Because once they're sprouted, it's a different ballgame in terms of your digestion. So much easier. So they were sprouting the grains. It just happened. It just happened because they couldn't get to the mill on time, right? So it just happened. And then they milled it, and then they've got this grain that's really digestible. Yay! Okay. In terms of fermenting, that is, I mean, just go check all the traditional peoples. Just go ahead and take a look. They do it now. They did it then. There's an amazing article that, what's it called? Get to the westonaprice.org website and just put in there. They've been around for a long time. I've been on their honorary board since they started 28 years ago, whatever. So just get to the search bar and go sprouting grains or grains. I saw two of them just yesterday. One is called Against the Grain. One is called Be Kind to Grains. She has all the data you need about how grains have been fermented by traditional peoples for as long as we know. So take a look at that. I always suggest to people, look at Nourishing Traditions. Sally's got a ton of great resources in there. Get to the Weston, right? WESTONA price.org. Look at all of their data there and their podcasts and blah, blah, blah. So much to look at. Take a look. Okay. Next question. What is your favorite nourishing dinner to make for your family right now? Really? Okay, here I go. Meat stock. Okay, I said it. So what does that mean? Once you understand the difference between meat stock and bone broth, right? So meat stock, what is meat stock? Meat stock is a chicken in a pot, or I actually prefer lamb. Lamb, meaty bones in a pot. So get your Dutch oven. You can do this every day, folks, and you will have the most nourishment. Yeah. So get your Dutch oven, 5 to 6 quarts is good. Put in 2 to 3 pounds of some meaty bones. It could be lamb shanks. Yum. It could be meaty neck bones. It could be ribs, short ribs. That could be beef or pork. It could be a bunch of chicken thighs. It could be a whole chicken cut up. In it goes. Put in your favorite vegetables. Put in your favorite herbs. Fill it up with water to cover by about 1 inch to 2 inches. That's it. Bring it to a boil, skim the scum, throw it in the trash, put it to simmer, put on the lid, cook it for 1.5 hours. Lamb will be more like 4. That is my favorite because then what happens? Now you've got a one-pot meal. You're welcome to use a crock pot or slow cooker, right? You serve it with good salt and cultured cream and fermented vegetables on the side and a glass of raw milk, and people are happy. That's all you need. If you eat bread, sourdough bread with a bucket of butter on it. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite nourishing dinner. I make it with chicken. I make it with lamb. I make it with beef. I make it with pork. I make it Italian. I make it Greek. I make it Asian. I make it right with coconut milk and curry. I make curries. I mean, it's so easy, folks. It's easier than pie crust. Hope you got that joke. Pie crust is tough. It can be. Yeah, it's easier than pie crust. It's so simple to do. It's incredibly nutrient dense and nourishing. And, and then you're satisfied. So that's what I do. Hope that's helpful. Okie doke. What do we got next? We've got. Okay. I've got a note. My book is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I hope people love it. You can find it on drtomcowan.com. It's called The Complete Cooking Techniques for the GAPS Diet. You can also find it on my website, simplybeingwell.com. Do not try to find it on Amazon because we're not selling it there and it's hundreds of dollars. My grandchild loves coconut water. Excellent. Coconut water is very Quenches your thirst because it's high in electrolytes. Again, best to have coconut water that's not like coconut water with pineapple, coconut water with mango, coconut water with passion fruit, sugar, sugar, sugar. So yeah, just watch that. It's a good idea. Okay, soaked grains. Give some suggestions. So when I'm talking about soaked grains for breakfast, we're talking about oats for oatmeal. We're talking about buckwheat. You can do a buckwheat porridge. We're talking about grits, right? Grits are a little special because we want to soak them in lime water, which, you have to make the lime water. It's basically pickling lime that you can get in it's pickling lime that you make the lime water first, and then you soak the corn in lime water and whey, or lime water and yogurt, or lime water and kefir, or lime water and, lemon juice. All of these are what I call them neutralizers. They actually are acidic. They are not pH neutral. They actually make the water a bit acidic, and that's the thing that helps to pre-digest the grains and get rid of they don't really get rid of like taking out the trash, but they get rid of the neutralizers. They neutralize the anti-nutrients. That's what they do. So there you have it. And all of these techniques are in Nourishing Traditions. All of these techniques are sitting in my book also. Not the oatmeal ones, because my book is specific to GAPS, but all traditional. People who are trying to eat Weston Price can absolutely use my book for all the techniques if you want to. Why do I think vegetables and seeds are good to eat with all the defense chemicals? I don't. Haha, no. Why do I think that nuts and seeds? Yeah. So here's the deal, folks. Nuts, seeds, beans, grains, right? Do have defense chemicals. You call them defense chemicals. They are. They're the way that the plant defends itself so you won't eat it. Yeah. We also call them anti-nutrients. So I call them anti-nutrients. So because I have been teaching traditional cooking techniques for 25 years, and I know that soaking, sprouting, soaking in a neutralizer, folks, this is not just water, to be clear, right? Soaking, sprouting, and fermenting are the traditional cooking techniques used around the world by traditional peoples to neutralize the problem, to take it out, right? To make the, to make those nuts, seeds, beans, grains edible for humans. Take out the problem, make them easy to digest. They're also called pre-digestion techniques. These are not bunny ears, they are quotes. Pre-digestion techniques. They are traditional cooking techniques that help get rid of all the problems. They get rid of the lectins and the oxalates and the salicylates and the blah, blah. I mean, part of the difficulty, folks, over and over again, is that we have become, Tom talks about this, we have become reductionistic. Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride talks about it too. We have become a reductionistic society. We're always looking at the thing that's the problem, this little thing that's isolated. Ha ha, that's isolated. Sorry. I'm making a joke about viruses, blah, 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 which have not been isolated. Anyway, but, right? So let us, we're isolating all the problems. But what we know is that when you eat this way, when you cook this way, you feel better. When you cook this way, your body can get the nutrition from the food. So let's just do it, right? Let's just do it. Just takes a little bit of planning. No problema. Okay. What about fish like salmon for kids? Yes, salmon is fabulous. But again, right? Get the cleanest salmon you can find. Wild caught salmon, never farmed, right? So wild caught is what we're looking for. Salmon would be great for children. Any of the fatty fish are great for children. So herring, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, right? Sardines. Yes, have those children eat sardines. They are brain food. All of those fatty fish are brain food. Great idea. Yes. And if the next thing that someone says is, what about the toxins? Remember, the smaller the fish, the less toxin, if you will. So anchovies, sardines, fabulous. And certainly salmon and fish eggs, great for kids. Freeze them first, they will love them. Yummy meat stock, nothing better. Agreed, agreed. Good salt, garlic, herbs. Yes. Cultured cream in every cup. Rock and roll. Really good. Delish, nutrish, yes. Ideas for a British dinner. You'll have to give me more than that. What's a British dinner? I don't have any idea. You'll have to give me more than that. I make meat stock every day being on gaps. Excellent. Fabulous. 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 Okay. More questions? Anyone? If not, I mean, I'll take more questions if they come up. But I also want to point you two things. One, if you haven't subscribed yet to Dr. Cowan's Garden on YouTube, please do that so that you know what we're talking about. I do have a whole list of topics I'll be doing from now through the end of the year. And those topics may shift depending on what people want to hear about and depending on what is going on in the world and going on with our kids and our lives and blah, blah, blah. So join me every week so that you can hear the latest and greatest at Dr. Cowan's Garden. The other thing is, if you have not visited the drcowansgarden.com website, now is a really great time to visit it because that is where Tom it was his first, right? Like he started doing fabulous things for Dr. Cowan's Garden, meaning like that's where you can find the best quality, like super duper clean, grown with integrity, really well sourced. Everything on there is beautiful olive oil, there is fermented hot sauce. You can put it on the egg pizza or on the, right? The salsa eggs, or what else are you doing, right? So they also have lovely, really incredible, pretty new, not that new, but newer soaked granola, right? So they're doing the work for you. They're soaked granola right there, like soaked granola and nut butters and beautiful things. You can get some beet powder and put it in your child's yogurt and make it pink and help their liver. Did I say that? I did. So right now, I think that Dr. Cowan's Garden is running a back to school sale for the next 2 days. So you can go check that out if you want to, right? If you would like. So if anyone has more questions, we will take them now. And you can put them right in the chat. But one more time with feeling, I'm inviting all of you to do a couple of things. One, think about the breakfasts of your childhood. Maybe they were fabulous. Maybe it was around the table every day, quiet, mindful, eating, etc. Maybe it was run out the door, sipping on a smoothie, right? Don't even get me started on smoothies. Yeah. Or I'm also inviting you to think about what your own breakfasts are right now. I am inviting you to make some changes if you are currently not regarding breakfast as important or not scheduling in, right, breakfast time for your family. I'm inviting you to put together a little breakfast menu that you just do Monday through Friday. Maybe you just do it Monday through Friday. Maybe Saturday and Sunday you make something special, right? Et cetera, et cetera. But make a schedule, folks. Like make a menu, like Monday through Friday, I'm going to do this. And because the stress levels go down, your stress level in the kitchen will go down. Whether you're cooking for yourself or for children, your stress level in the kitchen will go down when you know what you're actually making ahead of time. Number one. Number two, right? Number two, your stress level goes down when you have food in the house. So one of the things I work with people on is thinking about like, so you schedule everything else in your life. How about scheduling some cooking time? How about scheduling some go to the farmer's market time? How about scheduling some work in my garden time? How about scheduling some go to the co-op time, right? How about your pickup, like, right? So let's do that type of thing, right? Let's schedule. Let's get ourselves what we need in terms of supplies in the kitchen. Yeah. Eggs, butter, raw yogurt, raw milk, right? All those beautiful things. Raw cultured cream, kefir, right? Sprouted. You can soak your own nuts, make crispy nuts. You can buy them if you'd rather, right? All these things. Set yourself up with what you need. Make your plan, right? Your menu plan, Monday through Friday. This is what we eat, right? And then schedule the time in to do it. I'm telling you, folks, your children will be so much better off when you are with them, present at the meal, right? And sitting quietly eating our food with some gratitude for all the farmers and for the person who cooked it. Yeah. Okay, what does my breakfast look like? Well, today I had some chicken meat stock and I poached 2 beautiful pastured eggs in it with some good Baja Gold salt. Yes, and then I put in some immunity matrix. That's actually mushroom powder from Dr. Tom Cowan, I think. And then that was the beginning. And then I had 2 sausage patties cooked in butter. That's how I started my day, right? So, and a little bit, what else did I do? Oh, and always I love to put either sauerkraut or kimchi on my sausages or on my eggs or in my soup. Yeah, that's what I ate today. And I invite you to eat some too. All right, folks, I think we're at time. I think I covered all the questions, right? You are very, very welcome. I wish you so well this week. Blessings on your journey. Yeah. Blessings on these do one doable step at a time. No, I'm not here to overwhelm anybody. Pick one thing and then let's get it implemented. Yeah. And I'll see you in the kitchen. I'll see you in the kitchen with me next week. Same channel, right? Dr. Cowan's Garden, same time. 12:30 Mountain, 2:30 Eastern, 2:30 Eastern. Yeah. And thank you so much for being with me this week. It's been a real pleasure. And remember, let's do a little bit of meditation or focusing or just sitting with the word nourish. Word of the week, nourish. What are you doing to nourish yourself? What are you doing to nourish your family? Nourish. Okay. You're welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. Bicycle. See you next time.
Bye, Monica. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Bye, everyone.